It has been over a year since I last spoke on the big blue bird of the sea, and I believe it's time for a revisit, everyone. I have always admired the look and mechanics of the Malbatross. However, its aggro, or rather lack thereof at times, always soured my overall thoughts on the beast. That, and its spawning habits actually, were, and still kinda remain a wee bit too elusive, but we'll get to that. Let's, for now, get ready to kick some bass. Well, perhaps not actually, but still, bass is actually going to be very important today regardless. For you see, in order to have a chance to even encounter the Malbatross, one will have to find and sail to one of their deep bass shoals found in swell and rough oceans. Only problem is that these shoals can not only be anywhere in these ocean levels, only 25% of them even have a chance to see a big bad blue bird actually spawn. So, not only do you have to find these mini set pieces of sorts, doing so kinda means nothing, because it doesn't even have a guarantee of having a Malbatross. On paper, it sounds kinda simple. But in practice, it's an annoyance more often than not, and it's going to take you quite some time to do. But here is something neat to take away from all this, folks. The Malbatross also has a base 10% chance to spawn anywhere that the player snags a deep bass itself. I really wouldn't say that the odds are still in your favor per se. However, I do enjoy the prospect of such a mechanic anyways. Just know that you're still going to have to go to rough and or swell oceans to even find deep bass to begin with. Now, contrary to how things may have appeared at the start of this video, the Malbatross is indeed neutral to all players unless provoked, choosing to simply just go dive fishing for nearby deep bass. This move that it does is actually one that it could potentially do during your fight. So, note how it creates a circle of waves, pushes the boat, and can even lead to your wetness rising just a little bit as well. A Malbatross, though, will stick around a shoal for 3 days, and then it will have to be located at an entirely new shoal after that. So you better make most of the first encounter as soon as possible. Oh, and one last tidbit before we actually do that ourselves. A Malbatross is not going to take kindly to any player fishing for bass within the shoal it itself is fishing in. So I would be mindful there. But I just kind of love this thing. It really does have a ton of great mechanics going for it, even during its fight. It's just a shame that it's so difficult to encounter, and as we might come to find at the end of this video, doesn't actually lead anywhere good. But that aside, the encounter itself. Chances are you'll be needing a ranged weapon to begin the fight. However, said ranged weapons will be playing a far bigger role to come, so make note there. The Malbatross will always do its best to hover as close to its target player as possible, and while that seems very obvious, you must remain aware of that throughout the fight, or else it's just going to hover over the middle of your boat if you allow it, and then you're just going to have no way to dodge its attack. So, do your best to keep kiting it to keep it as close to the edge of your boat as possible. The attack pattern, though, is as old as time. Bait out its swing, get 4 to 5 hits in yourself, skedaddle out of there, and then repeat over and over again. A Malbatross's attack deals 75 damage to unarmored players, but it also loves pushing the boat itself, causing 5 damage to it along the way. The Malbatross does have that dive attack we mentioned, but it only does so if it's too far away from the players, and I really wouldn't worry about that. It's on and off. Now, and this is the most important aspect of this fight, so listen up. At below 66% of its maximum health, the Malbatross will try to fly away from the player if it's not constantly being attacked otherwise. Hopefully it's in a position at this time close enough to you for you to be able to continue to melee it. But if it starts to turn away and it gets too far, hit it with a ranged weapon ASAP over and over again. So preferably blow darts, as you gotta keep that damage up or else it's going away. Now, lower it down to 33% of its health, and it will begin to do a swoop attack that is practically unavoidable for the most part. And contrary to what I always thought, this does target the player, not the mass. But it does destroy any mass in its way, so be very, very vigilant there. Keep it up, and it will rue the day that it messed with your bass in no time. Now, every hit has a 5% chance to see a feather drop, with 4 in total per hit being a possibility. Plus, every mass destroyed by the bird can actually also spawn up to 4 feathers each time. So, there you go. But let's talk the other loot, starting with the 7 big meat that it drops for you to have a munch on in any way you choose. Good stuff. The Malbatross will drop 2 blue gems upon death with a 30% chance and an additional third. Plus, the blue bird has a 5% chance to gift even a yellow gem of all things too, which is quite interesting. Of course, the beast will drop its very own figure sketch for us to later commemorate its very own murder, which is always lovely. It also drops a very special advert for the Malbatross quill float for RC fishing rods. But make sure that you actually know how to use it by putting it into the tackle receptacle. It is by far the best float in the game. However, it is still tied, actually, with the Moose Goose float. So yeah, much simpler to just go for the latter at the end of the day. The Malbatross bill that the Malbatross drops is actually an ore that is supposed to be far superior to both a normal and or driftwood one. However, if I'm totally honest here, I can't really say that I have truly ever noticed much difference between all 3 variants regardless. Still, it's neat, and it's a weapon to boot. Not a very good weapon, but still, it's a thing, I guess. But the 2 things of most importance are as follows. The blueprints for the feathery canvas and the winged sail kit. One just simply leads to the other. And hopefully, you actually got enough feathers throughout the bout, as by golly, not only is feathery canvas very expensive, you need 4 of the bloody things to make 1 winged sail. So, it best be worth it. And you know, it is actually. For you see, even but a single winged sail is about as fast as having 3 normal ones ready to go. Also, winged sails can also be retracted far, far faster than normal ones too, so you won't have to worry about slamming head first in the dangers. It's all good stuff. But I still really wouldn't argue with anyone who happened to say that all of this still wasn't even worth it. But there you have it, everyone. The Malbatross of Don't Starve Together. At least revisited this time. But hold up, Beard. You didn't even talk like any fight prep whatsoever. You're right, friend, because it's so darn basic that you should be doing exactly that. Keeping it basic. Hand batter better for a weapon, armor that will let you kite easily, make a boomerang to help start the fight, farm azure feathers from the bluebirds in winter to work towards blow darts, or just keep hunting mac tusks for free blow darts that way. And as for healing, just use what best suits you, folks. Fighting the Malbatross isn't the hard part. It's finding the bloody big bad blue bird that is. So, good luck there. Thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all. Have fun bird watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.